Om Aim Hreem Shreem Shrimatre Namaha. The eighth Nama or name of Lalita Mata in Lalita Sahasranama is Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai. This is an 8-syllable word as per Sanskrit literature. While chanting with this Nama, one should say it as Om Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai Namah. Om Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai Namah. Om Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai Namah. Raga means affection or bondage. Swarupa means having a form or the form that it is called as Swarupa. Paasha means with Paasha, a weapon named called Paasha. Aadhya means she is flourished, she is appearing or having a form which she is holding called Paasha in her hand. And that Paasha is a form of bondage or affection, it is being referred here. The previous Nama, 7th Nama, if you see, the goddess has 4 arms and the weapons that she carry in those 4 arms are also mentioned in the 4 namas that comes from the 8th nama. In the previous nama, it has been mentioned that goddess is having 4 arms. Chaturbahu Samanvita. In her 4 hands, she is having her 4 hands. And in those 4 hands, what sort of weapons that she is carrying in those 4 arms are mentioned from the 8th nama to 12th nama. In this current 8th nama, Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai, the weapon that she carries in one of her 2 left hands, that the lower left hand, it is mentioned. What is this Paasha? Paasha is something that it is related to a physical attachment. Similarly, Raga is a sort of a mental attachment. Raga means pleasing nature, where or getting pleased to whom they love at most, whereas anuraga means an attachment. The attachment and aversion or hatred both are like north and south poles. If one is there, that means the other one should be there. Such is this pair of this attachment or lust or bondage and anger or hatred. If it is favorable, that means there is lust. Take an example, a person or a situation or a thing. If you love the most or you're attached to that person, then you're calling it as a lust, or whatever the condition or person or thing might be favorable to you or comfortable to you. Because of that, you are calling it as the attachment towards that person or thing or situation. Whereas if it is unfavorable situation or person or thing, then it's called hate. It starts with the anger, and if it goes to a chronic condition, then it's called hatred. Similarly, if it is favorable, you can think it as there is lust or attachment. And if it is unfavorable, that means there is anger or hatred towards that person or situation or the thing, anything it can be. So these are the 2 things which has been mentioned as north and south poles. If one is there, the other should exist. If the other is there, then this sort also should exist. Without the other, the one cannot exist alone, it indicates here. This attachment or kama or lust or attachment, bondage, is the first of the Arishadavarga. We call it as Arishadavarga, right? Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Out of those Arishadavargas, Kama means attachment or lust is the utmost or the first most one. Geetacharya says that a person can get to a point of salvation or mukti or liberation only to those who have abandoned these Arishadvargas, means attachment, fear, or anger. That is what it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita's 4th chapter, 10th shloka, Veetaraga, bhaya, krodha. However, it is not that raga or attachment is wrong, or a person, if he's having an attachment or bondage to a person or a situation or thing, it means that it is not wrong to that person. It doesn't indicate that he's wrong or the situation is wrong. It is needed. Any work can be done in this world only if a person is having an attachment first towards that object or situation or goal, anything. If there is no attachment or raga, the work cannot be performed at all. That means it's the first thing that needed. It indicates that it is a needed thing or needed quality, right? It doesn't mean that it is wrong. However, if you don't know, this is what everybody forgets about. If we doesn't know how to apply that attachment or raga or lust or kama, it leads to a disease. If we don't know the right application, then it becomes a disease. Not having anger is not we think so anger is something bad, but it doesn't mean like that. It is also needed. It is needed at particular situations, and if we don't know at what situation which quality to apply, then it is going to be a disease. This is what it is being mentioned here. If one, without knowing that how to apply or application, then he falls or he or she falls into the trap, then it can be said in a sort of adage which is mentioned in Telugu like Valalo, padithe, vaRaaju. It is referred to the Manmatha. Then how it is relevant to Universal Father Shiva and Parvati Mata, the Universal Mother? That couple knows, our father and mother knows how to use this desire or kama or attachment properly, in what condition, at what level. That is where this all creation has started and we are existing. Otherwise, this creation will not be there and we will not be there at all. Before creation of this universe, when Shiva was alone it says in Telugu like Vonti inta Ramalingadu, means he is alone. Then he got a desire, or it's a sort of desire means kama, to become many. That is where it is mentioned in Taittiriya Upanishad. Kamayata bahusyam prajayeyeti. This desire of Supreme Lord or Universal Father and Mother led to all this creation of this universe. That desire is called Mahakama. And the Supreme Lord or Shiva, in that particular state of having the desire called Mahakama, he is called as Mahakameshwara. Similarly, think that he got this great desire of Mahakama to create this entire universe and then creation, creatures, everything, right? It has been created. However, instead of in spite of being bound by this attachment or kama, he transforms the raga into this raga into affection, this attachment into affection, or with this affection that takes all the living beings who are his children into his hands. It is needed for all the children or all the creatures in this universe. With that only they will grow. That means with this Mahakama or the desire, he created the entire universe. However, he is not bound to that particular state continuously like how we does. Normal human beings or this any living being in this entire universe will get attached or will get binded to that what we are meant for. However, once he has transformed that raga into affection and he is no more bound to that attachment, he had created this entire universe and he is taking care of this entire universe as well as creator, protector. Even though the Supreme Lord and Goddess are having this attachment, that means they have this Paasha in one hand. It is the Paasha that is related to the universal affection. So it is not something bad or it is not something a negative quality of them. It is seen to be an ornament to that particular god or goddess. Ornament is something which is like for decoration. You wear a necklace or a hand, any bracelet for making yourself to appear very nice, decorative. Similarly, here the Pasha in one hand to God or Lalita Mata, here we are referring to goddess, is a sort of ornament, but it's because it's related to the universal affection to take care of the children in this entire universe. However, it is not a negative quality. Now, if you understand the relevance, like not either having the every living being will have this Arishadavargas. At what situation, when to apply, where to apply is the utmost thing that is needed to be. And once to lead this normal life, if we use these things, and then ultimately, eventually, through the path of the spirituality, you should come out of all these Arishadvarga. That should be the ultimate goal of all the living beings, which greatest goddess Lord Shiva and Parvati has shown us through this creation, staying inside this creation, but still not being attached to this entire creation. And as per Mantra Shastra, it is being described that the weapons that worn by the deities have certain symbols, and those symbols are called as bija, aksharas, mantropasana. We are saying, right? That's where sukshma rupa means subtle form of the god or goddess, or these bijaksharas, which will be the part of these mantras. I miss the bijakshara for this pasha. It is wrong to say that weapons are for bad. What for weapons are needed, like that people may say. Not only weapons are meant for something bad, because they become good or bad depending on the purpose for which they are used. For example, take a knife. If the knife is used to cut the teeth, nuts, vegetables, the knife is for being used for a good purpose. But if it is used to cut the neck of the good people or any living creature, then it is a bad. That is, there are both good and bad uses for the weapon. Even though the key feature of this Paasha weapon is bondage or attachment. However, if that bond leads to eternal attachments like non-destroyable attachments or raga, it indicates the bad use. And if it leads to Dhamma, then it is a good quality or a positive quality. This Raga and Dhamma indicates the negative and positive features of Paasha. That is, even if the characteristic is initially Raga, every human being, we are ultimately human beings, everybody will have Raga, attachment. With the practice of Upasana, if with the practice of all the sadhanas that we do in the spiritual path, if it can become to Dhamma, Dhamma means the control of the senses, then it becomes a good quality. Initially, every person will have, every living being will have this characteristic of this raga or attachment. However, eventually, with the practice of sadhana, with the practice or sadhana, a person has to get to a state of controlling all those senses. From the application point of view, it has been mentioned by author that those people who are having stone-like characteristic or who are lacking the qualities like desire, love, compassion, affection, and devotion, which are like very positive qualities. If they are lacking those positive qualities, then if they chant with this nama, Ragaswarupa Pashaadhyayai Namah, those qualities will get flourished in them with the blessings of Lalita Mata. In total, Lalita Mata is having in her left lower hand a weapon named Paasha, which is a form of attachment. What is that attachment or bondage? It is for the universal love or universal creation. Etat sarvam param Sri Satguru Charana Arvinda Arpanamastu.